Hello, my name is Anna, and this is a short documentary that I have produced. The topic that will be explored is fears. From this documentary, you will learn about fears of humans, how fears affect humans, and discover several tips for overcoming your fears. Fear. All of us experience it at one point or another. It is one of the things all humans share. So, what exactly is fear? Fear is one of the most basic human emotions. This emotion has been pre-programmed into all people, and it acts as an instinctual response to potential danger. So when danger is sensed, or when the feeling of safety is missing, it is our given survival instincts that cause a fear reaction. Fear, just like any other emotion, can be mild, medium, or intense. As well, the feeling of fear can be brief or it can last relatively longer. Things like that depend solely on the situation and the individual. While some of you might already be familiar with these general facts, do you know how fear actually works inside our brain? Our brain creates fear as a response to danger, and this process is completely unconscious. Everything begins with a stimulus. A stimulus is any stressful source triggering fear. It could be a spider, a loud noise, or anything else creating tension. From there, two paths are involved in creating fear, and both occur simultaneously. The picture here shows both paths and the brain areas that they involve. Thalamus is a part of the brain that decides where to direct the incoming information from a stimulus. Using the short path, thalamus sends this data straight to the amygdala. As the amygdala receives a potential sign of danger, it immediately instructs the hypothalamus to activate the so-called fight-or-flight response. Together with the short path, thalamus uses the long path to forward the collected information to the sensory cortex. The sensory cortex is responsible for interpreting the meaning of the received message. The interpretation is then passed along to the hippocampus, which establishes context. It processes the interpretation by making connections with the information already stored and basically takes everything into account. When amygdala receives the analyzed meaning, it can direct the hypothalamus to shut off the fight-or-flight response if actual danger was not identified. The fight-or-flight response. For all living beings, including humans, the emotion of fear exists for a specific purpose: to warn of a danger that is approaching and prepare to take measures to avoid that danger. The fight-or-flight response prepares our body to do exactly that: physically fight off the source of danger or escape it by running away fast. Hypothalamus is a part of the brain that activates what is called the sympathetic nervous system and the adrenal cortical system. The two systems produce the needed fight-or-flight response by causing certain physical reactions and changes to occur within our body. Stress hormones like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and about 30 others are released into the bloodstream. What all of this does is it causes our body to become more tense and very alert to its surroundings. Some other physical effects include increased heart rate and blood pressure, widening of pupils to take in maximum light, tightening of muscles, which also causes goosebumps, increased sweating to keep the body cool, sharpened and redirected senses. Some people might feel sensations in the stomach, head, chest, legs, or hands. All these physical responses are intended to prepare us to either fight or, metaphorically speaking, fly for our life. Of course, there is more to fear than just the physical effect it has on our body. Fear can serve as a protection in life, but can also be an obstacle. By keeping us away from danger, fear keeps us safe and protected from harmful things. It stops us from making bad decisions that can affect our life in a negative way. At the same time, fear can prevent people from pursuing the things they want. In some situations, fear is just unnecessary, and it often holds people back from following their dreams, opportunities, and passions. So far, we have been looking at fear and its effect on humans as a general emotion and instinct. But what about the specific fears that exist? There is an endless amount of fears that humans have. These fears can be combined into 4 general categories. First is fears of animals, for example, snakes, spiders, or dogs. Second group is the fears of natural environment. Example of such might be the fear of heights, storms, water, or of the dark. The third is situational fears, and these are the fears that are triggered by specific situations. Those might be flying on an airplane, driving a car, crossing a bridge, or being in enclosed spaces. The fourth category is a combination of fearing blood, injuries, needles, or any medical-related procedures. Of course, not every single fear falls into these categories, like the fear of public speaking, for example. These general categories simply combine many specific fears by their similarities. I have conducted several interviews in which I asked people about the different fears they have, mentioning the four general categories, and I also asked people some general questions about fears. I thought it would be interesting and fair to interview people of different age groups because I wanted to get a chance to explore the various ways that fears are a part of different individualities without restricting and putting boundaries on their age. I chose to classify my interviewees by four different age groups: children of ages lower than 13, teenagers from ages 13 to 17, adults from ages 18 to 60, and seniors of ages 60 and higher. The interviews allow me to explore how each individual is unique in the things they fear, and how each has their own personal perception on fears as a general idea.
I think there are maybe things that you're scared of.
I don't know. I think there are things that you can't resist thinking about.
Well, mostly snakes. Because their hissing sound kind of freaks me out a bit.
I'm scared of lions.
Is it because they have sharp teeth?
Yeah. And I'm scared of crocodiles.
Crocodiles? Are you scared that they will eat you? Yeah?
I'm in the dark scared and the thunder. No, because it has this white stripe and it can go on people.
It can kill you?
Yes.
I'm a little bit afraid of darkness.
Why do you think you're afraid of the darkness?
Because you don't know what's behind it, and everything that you think is around you, it might not be it. I guess I am kind of scared of heights. Usually I just try not to look down. Kind of, because my brother had to get stitches twice.
So did you get scared when you saw blood?
I didn't, yeah, kind of, because it's just really disgusting.
So what about when you get needle shots at the doctors? Do you get scared from that?
No, but I feel like I'm gonna cry 2 seconds.
But did you used to be afraid of needles and shots when you were little?
The first time, which was the only time, it was when I was 6 years old. I'm scared of monsters. And I'm scared of witches.
Yeah.
Because they can take away.
I'm afraid of the world running out of materials for us to survive.
Why does that scare you?
Because if some of the materials in the world go out, then we might not be able to live as some easy life as we have right now. And the world might be the worst place to live on. And we have to find a new place.
I'm scared of like big spiders, but not the small ones. It's more like the fact that they have 8 legs scares me.
Maybe spiders a little bit more than others,
Spiders?
or snakes. I have this sort of impulsive reaction just to jump back if I see one. I guess it's just something that I grew up with.
Змея.
И почему вы думаете, вы боитесь змей?
Ну, не знаю почему. Ну, один вид. Ну, и потом вообще считаю, это такое ползучее существо. Хотя можно от него убежать, но все равно один вид даже по телевизору смотреть не могу на них.
I try to tell myself I'm not afraid of heights, but when I get up high, kind of makes my knees shaky. I'm used to being close to ground, so when I don't have the support around me or anywhere to hold on to, it's like there's nothing to hold me back so I could like fall or something. It's more afraid of falling, I guess, than heights.
Heights a little bit. Heights. Yeah, I'm okay on the ascending part of it, but when it comes to the descending part, it's like I get a little fearful of that. I remember one time I was a boy, I climbed up to get something, to remove something, and I looked down, like I can't go back down. So it's more of the coming down part, that makes me scared.
У меня самый сильный страх – это страх темноты. Ну, как бы этот вот страх темноты или к темноте я пронесла через всю свою жизнь, да. Вот, например, особенно сейчас, такое вот темное время года, я всегда прихожу домой и сразу включаю свет. У меня должен гореть и люстра, и настольная лампа, и тогда я расслабляюсь.
No, I don't think so.
Nothing like that. I mean, there are some situations probably other than that.
Ну вот на самолете немножко страшновато, потому что особенно много после тех событий. Вот кажется, что тоже произойдет все. Но стараюсь перебороть.
Does the sight of blood scare you?
Not as much as it did as a kid. Yeah, just because I remember riding on bicycles and like sometimes falling, and that would freak me out when I would get scratches.
I think if I saw some like really bad injuries or something like that, it would be scary. But just normal blood or needles, not too much.
Да, это может быть смешно будет, но я всегда боюсь, когда у меня берут кровь из пальца. Это, казалось бы, в общем-то, ерунда, но мне всегда страшно этой боли, хотя она очень мизерная.
I'm scared of like supernatural things, like horror movies and like stuff like that.
And why is that?
I don't know. It's just freaky.
How about philosophical fears?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a physics teacher and a physicist, and I think about some of the big questions. Like, what if, the whole universe were to just slightly change and then we could no longer exist? Like just everything stopped existing just immediately without any ability to change it. Or what if we knew that the sun was going to explode and there's nothing we could do about it? So I worry a bit about those types of things, but not too much because there's nothing you can do about it. Right?
Страх остаться одной, то есть одиночество, потому что я никогда не жила одна. Это страх социальный. И второе – страх смерти. Но это об этом я не думаю, а вот одиночество меня больше волнует. Потому что когда подумаешь, что пока муж есть рядом, очень много примеров у нас рядом, где я живу, где живут одинокие старые люди, и каково им жить одиноко. Поэтому это мне тоже. Такой социальный страх у меня присутствует.
An obstacle.
Okay, and why?
Because they're in your way, like you would do something but you're scared. You would be doing this but you're scared. Like I can't imagine they're ever helping you. I mean, fears can be helping. Okay.
I think, well, maybe because people think they're being cautious or safety conscious, I think it prevents them. So I think sometimes people or myself, I probably say it's a safety thing when it's more of a fear thing. So I kind of, you play off each other a little bit. But it's probably more based on the fear. If there wasn't a fear, then I wouldn't have, one wouldn't have to, find an excuse, so.
Сказать, что они мне очень мешают, но я борюсь с ними.
Sure. I think I can agree with that, but I don't think it should be something that fully identifies you as who you are, but partially, yeah.
I think they can. I think that because fears develop at different points in your life. based on your amount of knowledge or understanding, you know, what you're afraid of when you're little isn't necessarily what you're still afraid of as an adult. And I think that's dictated by your different experiences in life.
Да, согласна. Становишься сильнее, по-другому на что-то смотришь. Да.
I think people are scared of being scared. I think generally fear is the only thing a person is scared of. When you lose the sense of fear, I don't think you're even a complete person because you lack some sort of empathy. So yeah, that's probably it.
One, what I mentioned earlier, with the world getting into such a state that we don't know how to continue to live or function because it's changed. The state of it changes so much in a negative way. I think that it's not a fear of mine personally, but I think a great many people are afraid of public speaking. And I don't know that it's just necessarily public speaking, but also being in front of people, because that puts you, you know, as the object of observation and judgment, and that can be extremely uncomfortable for people because they're putting themselves out there, out on the line, and a lot of people have difficulty with that.
Ну, страх войны, я думаю, да, для всех людей. Страх войны. Может быть, страх голода, который ожидает через много-много лет, да, что не будет что кушать людям, да, потому что, ну вот, планета умрет. Этот самый страх, я думаю, страх войны на первом месте сейчас, в данный момент.
The interviews show a much more personal approach to fears than the generalizing information given in the beginning. As each interviewed person shared their fears, they also shared a part of their individuality. While some people might have a fear or two in common, each one still has their own story and reasoning behind their fears. For the questions about fears in general, the thoughts and opinions people disclosed reflected a part of who they are. Even though some answers might be similar, they still show something about each of their personalities. So fear is not only a common emotion and instinct that humans share. Fears play a unique role in every individual. Fears are a very common thing for people to live with, and they don't always have to cause problems or disrupt our everyday life. But when fears interfere with your daily functioning, that should probably be a sign to consider treatment. Fears should not be ignored when they cause anxiety and panic, when they keep you from doing the things you want, and when you recognize that they are highly unreasonable. When it comes to deciding on how to approach treating your fears, it is important to acknowledge both professional therapy but also self-help. A therapist can offer great additional support for treating severe cases where fear is highly controllable and even causes panic attacks. However, there are some things you can try to do on your own to deal with everyday fears that are less severe. I want to offer 3 general tips for overcoming your fears that I personally find are worth trying. Tip number 1 is to face your fears. You might have already heard this somewhere, but exposing yourself to your fears gives you more control over them. Instead of avoiding your fear, try to repeatedly face it, and you will come to realize that your fear is just a result of your imagination and is not actually true to reality. Your fear will eventually lose the power it has over you. I am not suggesting to start with something too overwhelming. Take small steps. If you're afraid of heights, don't immediately go to the edge of a mountain cliff or jump with a parachute. Maybe begin with standing on a balcony of a building and try looking down when you feel comfortable. Once you practice that, you will begin to adapt to heights and try something more challenging. Just make sure that the things you try are safe. The second tip is to learn to relax. Whenever you're in a situation where fear gets the best of you, just take a moment to pause. Recognize your fear. Observe how it rises, falls, and generally feels inside your body. When fears make us feel anxious, we tend to breathe rapidly. So to calm yourself down, you should close your eyes and focus your attention on your breathing. Take slow breaths and inhale deeply from the abdomen. Take slow breaths and inhale deeply from the abdomen while focusing on the sound of your breathing. In a matter of a couple short minutes, you will feel your body relax and you will calm down. And last but not least, the third tip is to challenge negative thoughts and focus on the positive. Fears are caused by thoughts that are usually negative. These negative thoughts make us overestimate how bad the fear situation actually is. The assumptions are often unrealistic. Challenging your negative thoughts means putting them to test. Ask yourself if there is any evidence that supports or otherwise contradicts your negative thoughts, and if there is anything you can do to prevent the feared outcome from happening. An interesting thing to ask yourself is, what would you say to a friend who has this fear? As an alternative, try thinking more positively. By forcing yourself to focus on the positive things in your life, you widen your perspective. Negative things like fears will not seem as significant as all the other good things around you. When positivity is practiced, it helps people to be more adaptive and strong in the stressful situations we fear. To conclude this documentary, let's review some of the main points learned. There is more to fear than it seems at first. It is everywhere around us. Experiencing fear is one of the parts of being human. Our brain is able to react to the smallest signs of danger. It automatically takes safety measures by activating the fight or flight response while it scans, processes, and interprets the received signals. The fight or flight response causes certain changes in our body to occur. Aside from its physical effect, fear also affects our everyday life. Healthy fear can protect us from harmful situations. However, sometimes fear can be an obstacle standing in our way. By choosing a safer path, one can miss out on some great opportunities and experiences. So fear definitely has some influence over us, and it can be both a bad or a good thing. Another interesting thing is that while fear is an instinct shared among all of us, it still remains unique for each individual. Every person has a different mentality and story behind them. That is why all of us have different fears and different perspectives on fears. Regardless of the age, gender, or identity, every person has fears. Yet, everyone still remains unique in that sense. If your fears are giving you trouble, you can try to handle them on your own. I personally find the mentioned 3 tips worth considering. First is to face your fears, second is to learn to relax, and third is to challenge the negative and focus on the positive. Just remember, fears are normal, and you're not the only one who has them. You wouldn't be completely who you are without them.